Paul McCartney and John Lennon were a powerful creative duo, and they created almost all of the Beatles' songs together, giving them joint credit under the name Lennon-McCartney. Paul and John used to write together in the early days, but as the 1960s progressed, they began to write songs on their own and then show them to each other for final adjustments. John and Paul have a collection of tunes that any songwriter would envy, but they were not the only ones who wrote outstanding songs for the Beatles. However, in addition to songs that the band wrote themselves, the Beatles were also open to recording covers, particularly during their early years. Their first album, Please Please Me, which was released in 1963, had a number of songs that had already been recorded by other artists. One of these songs was Twist and Shout, which was the last song on the album and was very loud. Phil Medley and Burt Byrne wrote Twist and Shout. The song was initially recorded in 1961 by the American R&B group The Top Notes. The Isley Brothers made it popular the following year. The Beatles were inspired to perform the Isley Brothers' version of the song on stage in 1962, with John singing it with a rough and enthusiastic voice. George Martin, the producer, wanted a real barnstormer to finish the band's first album, and they decided on Twist and Shout. However, he made the decision to have the song recorded last, on February 11, 1963. That day, the band recorded a total of 10 songs in the studio. John's voice was on the verge of giving up after spending a full day in the studio. However, he put in a lot of effort for one take because he wanted to get the song just right and play it with the same fervor that the Beatles had when they performed it live. The song was recorded twice, and the first version was included on the album. By the second take, John's voice had lost its energy, and it had long-term consequences. The last song almost killed John Lennon in reference to that. For a long time after that, John Lennon's voice sounded like sandpaper every time I swallowed. Even though John was disappointed, he has become a great singer. Mark Lewisohn, a music critic, stated that it was arguably the most stunning rock and roll vocal and instrumental performance of all time.